Okay, anytime.
You know, dance has become such an important art form in this country. It has almost slipped up on us, and it's a unique combination of athletic prowess and artistic influences. One of the masters of American dance, I think, at this point in time is Bob Fosse. And I would like for you to tell me what you think the American public might think of when they hear your name. Tell us some of the shows that you're responsible for. Broadway movies.
The Broadway shows. First one was Pajama Game, Damn Yankees, New Girl in Town. I co-choreographed one with Jerry Robbins called Bells Are Ringing, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, Redhead, Little Me, Chicago, Pippin, Dancing.
Movies, you did Lenny, Cabaret.
Sweet Charity.
Sweet Charity,
All That Jazz.
Now All That Jazz. Well, that's an impressive list. I can't talk about All That Jazz too much because so many people will not have seen it, so we can't get too nitty-gritty about it. Let me give you some of my impressions, just as a statement that you seem to be making, because it seemed autobiographical to me. One of the main things I saw in it was the futility of art, the futility of always trying to achieve and never succeeding in establishing perfection or anything close to perfection in the art form. Do you feel that way in what you've done with your life? I mean, you just reeled off an impressive list of things for one man to have done in a lifetime.
Yeah, and I think they're all good. You know, I don't think they're great. I think they're good.
You really mean that, Bob? That they're not great?
Yeah, I would have no... I don't know why I would feign a position like that. I really feel that sincerely.
Yeah.
I have seen, you know, some great things. I think When a Stair Dances, that's greatness. I think City Lights is a great movie. I think Citizen Kane is a great movie. I think there's an awful lot of very, very good movies and shows. But greatness is something else. Something we all aspire to, and very few of us get that. A few people who are touched by God, you know.
Yeah.
Jerry Robbins, George Balanchine, they have it.
Yeah, I know you had the character in the movie saying, he looked at a rose and said, God, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Why do you think a rose is perfect?
I don't know, but take a look there. You can hardly find a fault with that rose, can you?
Well, I wonder. There are people who don't like roses.
Yeah.
Prefer tulips.
Well, that was just that particular character, and I think it's true most people. Roses still are the thing that implies love, perfection, beauty, and they represent special occasions to us. So I think that's why the character Joe Gideon that Roy Scheider plays picked that image.
Do you think, I have two levels of thinking about dancing in this country. On the one hand, I have a tendency to say, and I'm trying to represent myself, I know very little about ballet. I like to watch dancing, and I love to watch movies of dancing, but I don't have any understanding of the art form of dancing. Do you think that's a general feeling in this country?
Well, yeah, it would be terrible if only people who had studied dancing could enjoy it. I mean, yeah, that's not necessary at all. I mean, but you have appreciation for beauty. With a lot of dancing are a series of paintings put together with dissolves. You got to have an appreciation for when a guy jumps 3 feet in the air, for somebody spinning like that. That's right. Sheer power and athleticism. Right. That you've got to admire that as much as you admire a tightrope walker. You know.
Why do you think some people? What is it in you, let's talk about you, that has made dancing your art form, your way to express yourself, rather than painting or writing music or whatever?
Well, it just happened very early. You know, I was thrust into dancing. I moved into dancing very early, so I never had a chance to try, although at one time I did have a painting put in the Chicago Art Institute. Yeah.
So you do?
When I was about 6 years old.
Really? I
drew this two-dimensional Halloween parade. And no one had ever paid any attention to me until they saw this drawing, and they took it down to the Chicago Art Institute and said, drawn by Bob Fosse, age 7 or something.
Yeah.
The next year they came around, they were all looking over my shoulder with great expectation. I sat down and drew the same picture. I said, well, if that's what you want, I'll just keep giving you that picture, you know. To this day, that's the only picture I can draw. So it's a good thing I didn't go into art.
Well, then I wonder if we're saying that what I'm trying to find out is what unique ingredient do people like yourself, or do you have, which makes dance the thing that you manifest in terms of art?
I think you have to love dance. I mean, dancing to me, I can get no other feeling like it, especially when things are right. when you're dancing well, or when you're choreographing something for a group of dancers and it's all working. It's a great sensation. It's like some execution in athletics, like high jumping or pole vaulting, that thrill that they must get, or a ski jump or something. Or you don't even have to be that skilled professionally at it. The fun that any of us get doing anything we feel right, and that's dancing has given me that. So I'm eternally grateful to what dance has done.
We've been slow in this country, though, to recognize the value of dance, haven't we? We recognize
it's coming around now. It's
yeah.
certainly hitting a high point now.
Yeah, why is that? What has happened that has raised our awareness to dancing?
Well, I think disco has had a great deal to do with it. A great deal to do with it. The people are going out and dancing like they did in the 40s. You know, when the ballrooms and the big bands were going on. That's come back. But as far as why the appreciation for all kinds of dancing, like ballet dancing and modern dancing, I don't know. Well, I wish I could figure it out, but it certainly is popular now.
But still, I can imagine the average American family today, if a boy, particularly a boy, but even if a girl
Yes.
came and says, "Mom, I want to be a dancer,"
Yeah.
oh my God, call the doctor. What's
Yeah.
going
Well,
on?
particularly a boy. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
But not so much anymore, because some of the people like Berezhnikov and Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire proved that you can be very masculine and still be very graceful. I mean, it's not feminine to be graceful.
Yeah. Thank heavens we've crossed that barrier.
I hope so, because it's
Your
not
movie,
very bright.
your movie Lenny was shot in Miami. The story of Lenny
Yeah.
Bruce, and Lenny Bruce has some impact. I almost see this movie, frankly, just to give you a personal impression. If Lenny Bruce had collaborated with Busby Berkeley, they might have produced all that jazz.
That's not a bad idea.
Because it's bittersweet. It's got beautiful moments in it. Yet there's a tremendous undertow of frustration and futility in it, which of course were a part of Lenny. And there's also dealing with hypocrisy.
Well, I like to think, I hate to underscore the futility part, because I don't think we're going to sell many tickets if you keep using that word.
No, they're going to wait to see what is this.
I'm
they're
trying to
talking
say, come see this movie, and you're talking about futility. I would say it's more up and entertaining, which I do think it is.
Oh, I
It's funny
wouldn't
parts.
dispute that. Yeah, but I think it's saying something. Some people said it's overindulgent on your part to laboriously deal with your death and so forth. I agree with that somewhat, and yet I can see what you were saying, I think, for me anyway. But I don't think that's bad to have a message. I know who was it, Harry Cohn said, if you want to send a message, send him a telegram.
Yes, right.
But I don't agree with that. I think people like to come out of a movie with some feeling of substance.
Many movies have that, though. I don't know. I don't start out with a message. I really don't.
No?
I start out to do a show and be entertaining, and sometimes I think it's more entertaining to do it about a subject that hasn't been done about before. And if a message comes out of that, I'm happy, but that's not my primary goal. I really want to entertain people. But I do think they're tired of seeing the same kind of movies about the same kinds of subjects, the domestic comedy, the adventure, the carefree burglars and all of those things.
Bob, let's just go back to the Cabaret. Now, you had no intention of discussing Germany in the 30s in terms of its whole socioeconomic milieu and everything?
No, I think if you'd done that, you'd do a picture like The Damned or something like that.
Yeah.
The primary thing there, and it certainly was helped by that whole pre-Hitler era, and the doom that was ahead. You felt that under the love story all the time. It should be there. But if the Cabaret numbers had not been entertaining, Cabaret would not be the picture it is. And so the primary goal was to do an entertaining movie. The other thing was already there, the decadence, the headlong, hell-bent into fascism. I mean, that was all there and helped the entertainment. But I would have made a serious documentary had I just wanted to use that aspect.
Well, I don't know, Jane Fonda told me that if she wanted to make a statement about nuclear energy, she would have made a documentary. But I must say that China Syndrome was much more powerful a statement about than a documentary. So I would say the same to you.
But the China Syndrome was also a plain good story,
Oh, of course.
It's just a good story.
And well executed, I think, which all that jazz is well executed. And I think you feel good about it?
I like it a lot.
Of course, if you didn't, I guess you wouldn't admit it. But
I might.
Oh, really?
I'm tricky that way, yes.
Okay. Well, go see it and make it up for your own mind. Bob Fosse, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
can drop together. Okay.